On Friday the 20th of June 2014, the Ain longboat Viktoria returned to Burscough for the first time in 53 years. She was towed by the motorboat Ambush. Both boats were built for the Ainscough mill fleet back in the early 1930s, Ambush being built in 1933 and Viktoria in 1934. Here the boats can be seen working through bridge number 36, known as Spencer's Swing Bridge, which is where Hollowford Lane crosses the canal. Ambush is being skippered by Lee Parkinson and Viktoria is steered by the boat's owner, a working boatman, Derek Bent. As the canal was started from the Lancashire and Yorkshire end simultaneously, with no agreement reached as to what was to be the size of the locks, the size differed at each end of this wide canal, with the barges built reflecting the size of the boats working the local rivers and navigations. The Yorkshire side through to Wigan, the locks would take boats 60 feet long by 14 feet 1 inch wide, known as a Leeds and Liverpool short boat. The Lancashire side through to Wigan and on to Manchester would accommodate a boat 72 feet long and 14 foot 5 inches wide, known as a Leeds and Liverpool longboat. As canal carrying came to an end, Ambush was sold on and turned into a trip boat. Viktoria was used to build boats in her hold. Both have been bought by Derek Bent, a working boatman who continues to work the Ambush while restoring and preserving both. The Ambush is the only working broad-beam iron longboat to survive in its original state, having been converted to a trip boat in 1983 and then decommissioned back to its original state by Derek. The vision is that Viktoria will be available as a resource for education, appropriate meetings and as a museum of canal and local history, and Ambush to continue as a working boat, continuing with a historic way of life. Here we see the boats approaching the Rufford branch, passing moored leisure boats. The bridge over the Rufford branch was built in 1816 and the Rufford branch goes down through 7 locks to the lock at Tarleton, where it's onto the River Douglas and then out onto the estuary of the Ribble and the sea. This iron bridge crossing the canal used to carry the Burscough Curves railway line. And on the towpath we see a youth so interested in the boats that he actually pauses to take a photograph. Viktoria, seen here in the background, is passing Ainscough Mill for the first time in 53 years. Ambush and Viktoria worked the mill carrying grain and flour. Grain was produced by the local fields and also picked up from the docks in Birkenhead and Liverpool. The boats were actually built with hatches so they could cross the Mersey. The mill was built in the 1850s on the site of a former windmill to process the grain into flour. There were only 9 broad-beam iron longboats built, and of these, Viktoria is the oldest dumboat left in restorable condition. Of the 9 boats built, ironclad with its dumboat attractive and Ambush with its dunboat Burscough were both built in 1933. The Black Prince with its dunboat Viktoria was built in 1934. The horseboat Parbold was built in 1936, and Boadicea with its dunboat Claymore were built in 1948-49. Burscough was destroyed in bombing in the Liverpool docks in 1944 during the Second World War. Parbold has been converted and can be found on the Grand Union Canal. Ironclad has been converted and is in the London area. Boadicea has been abandoned and is 75% submerged in Lough Neagh, Northern Ireland. Attractive was cut up in Wigan. Claymore has been converted and was last seen in the Manchester area. Burscough 2, alias the Black Prince, has been converted and was last seen in Shannon Harbour, Southern Ireland. Viktoria and Ambush, having been passed into different owners' hands, are now back working on the Leeds and Liverpool Canal. Here we have Ambush and Viktoria approaching the old stables in Burscough. Several members of the society can be seen here waiting to catch a rope and helping mooring the boats up. As the boats come into moor, you can see the Burscough Wharf. This used to be a British Waterways yard. After the journey, members of the society with Lee and Derek can be seen having a well-deserved drink and to celebrate the successful mooring of the two boats outside the stables for the first time in many years.